Okay. How is everyone doing?
Good, Bill. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Just taking a peek at who is here today. Looks like we've had some good successes over the weekend. Does anyone want to share anything?
I'm sure, Bill.
Go ahead, please.
Well, last week I was able to get 2 buyer contracts signed and a listing and go on binding this morning. So.
Oh my goodness.
Outstanding.
This is amazing. Great job. Where did those opportunities come from?
One, was a girl from high school, just posted on my social media. She sent me a direct message and told me she wanted me to be her husband's realtor, and they already were pre-approved. Another one, the Tuned Up Marketing, it was an assistant with the company I used to work for, and she called me and she said, "Hey, your advertisement just came across my computer screen." She said, "I'm looking to sell my mom's house. Can you represent us?" So that was from a digital marketing, and one of the.
Hold on, let me make sure I heard that correctly. So you're working with a like a marketing media company that created some ads for you, and your ad just happened to come across somebody that you knew, and they just so happened to be in the business, right? Or wanting to be in the business. That's incredible. That is incredible. Guys, leads can come from everywhere.
Yeah, and so when I'm selling their house, which is going to close in 2 weeks because we got a cash offer, her sister needs to go somewhere, so they're going to take the cash from the house and pretty much do another cash deal. So it all worked out.
That is amazing. That's a testament to your commitment to the business. There is no doubt about that. I want to make sure everyone understands that you're not getting that stuff, and you're not the only one, but those that get deals, nobody gets deals. They earn deals, right? You earn deals by showing up every day and getting smarter every day and speaking to people every day. So you don't just like get them because you ask for them. You get them because you put yourself in the path of business, right? Michael, is that deal closed yet?
Yes, sir. It closed Thursday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First listing, first closing, right?
Correct.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, Michael.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else want to share anything before we get going?
Hey, this is Stacy Davis.
Hey,
I
Stacey.
did my first shadow at an open house with Drew and Donna Patrick, so I really appreciate that they let me, come in and see how they do things. So that was really great. And I'm curious, the lady, I can't tell who's who, the lady that was speaking before, who did she use for her marketing, or can I connect with her and ask her about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can connect with her. Her name is Markia Smith. And
Okay.
she's in the, Markia, if you want to post your contact information, if you're able. Otherwise, I'll connect you guys a little bit later.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bill, I'm driving, so if you can connect us later, that's fine.
Yeah,
Thank
no problem.
you.
Markia, info.
What's her name?
Stacy Davis.
Stacy. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to go through a couple of housekeeping things real fast, and then we'll move on to the meat of the day. So we've done a little bit of shuffling around. I appreciate everyone being flexible. We're trying to balance Ignite and the Market Center's classes and all these kind of things. But ultimately, what we have decided to do is on Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we're going to have an in-person launch mastermind. It's probably going to be more like 1 o'clock to 1:50 or so, to be honest, because we're going to have a guest speaker / lunch sponsor that comes in probably the last couple minutes of the launch mastermind. Everyone will get a chance to meet or to eat and to meet each other. And then right afterwards from 2 to 3, we're going to do the growth mastermind. So my vision here is that between 1 and 3, as many people are able to come to the Market Center and meet one another. If you could mute yourself, whoever that is, that would be awesome. Okay, so my vision here is From 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Wednesday, we just have a bunch of productivity coaching people at the office, right? For the roughly first hour, we'll do the launch group, and the second hour, we'll do the growth group. We're going to feed you. You'll get an opportunity to meet each other and meet a new vendor that Candace has been kind enough to introduce us to. And then on let's see, what is the other big piece I wanted to chat with you about? Oh, let's not forget today from 6:30 at night to 7:30 at night, Candace will be hosting in her Zoom room, we'll be hosting a dual career mastermind. So Candace, do you want to tell us a little bit about what your topic for today is, please?
Yes, so we're going to talk about how to automate Facebook posts and Instagram posts. I've got an app that I'd like to share with you so that you can actually, it's a free app, but there's a way to do it right in Facebook and Instagram as well. So we'll be going over that. I have a listing appointment at 5:30 in Grant Park. So I know I'll be finished by 6:30, barring anything, but in fact, I'll let them know that I have to be finished by 6:30, but I'll be in my car. So I'll be in my car, so you'll have the car as background. But I'm excited to share with you what I have to share with you. I think it's gonna make, as far as so those of you who know me know that I like one action to do multiple things, and I'm going to share some content ideas so that you can sit down maybe on a day that you don't have a lot going on, and you could just do all your posts for the month, and then using the content, and then go ahead and schedule it out. And then you don't have to think about it for the rest of the month. You do have to have a follow-up in case you get leads coming in, but that's okay. We'll figure that out too.
Okay, perfect. And let me just remind you about two other things. On Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 is going to be the social equity mastermind. That's going to be on KW Roswell training.com, the typical website for KW Roswell stuff. That's 1:30 to 2:30 Thursday, Social Equity Mastermind. And then next week, Monday through Thursday, guys, is Mega Camp. So in the weekly email yesterday that I sent out, I sent out a link for KW's Mega Camp website, where you can get additional information on there, schedule, speakers, agenda, a link for registration. You guys, if you go to this, first of all, you have access to the platform for like 2 months. So if you miss a session or something like that, or you can only come for a little while, the platform would be available for about 2 months afterwards. Gary Keller's going to be doing a vision speech, a tech speech. There's going to be all kinds of breakout groups and masterminds. Highly, highly, highly recommend this. You will not think about Keller Williams the same after you participate in this this particular event. So highly, highly recommend that you attend that.
And Bill, I'd like to add something right quick. And if
Yeah.
you have friends, if you're trying to build your profit share tree and you have friends in other brokerages, invite them to this. It's not that much money, and they will see the vision of what they can't find at their brokerage, I promise.
Yeah, great point there. Great point there. Okay. We've had a number of people in the last couple weeks, particularly some new people, kind of have a little bit of a kind of trouble figuring out what to do at the very beginning. So Candace and I, a couple of months ago, we started to create an outline for an 8-week training program. I just took a picture of sorry for the kind of not so sophisticated tech release here, but I took a picture of the first 2 weeks because I'm having some computer issues and put it on the WhatsApp chat. So you should see number 1 is tools and orientation, and number 2 is time management, and the big why, the economic model, and the GPS. So we're going to go through the details of those sessions today. That's week 1 and 2. So let me make sure you guys understand what we did from a theoretical standpoint. What we've done is, we know that when you get into the business, it can be pretty overwhelming, right? There's all kinds of classes at the market center. There's things you have to pay for. There's services you gotta sign up for, and everyone's really eager to tell their friends and family and those that they know, their social media and all that they're in real estate. And what I want everyone to understand is that we are not just necessarily looking for the first transaction. Okay, we are looking to build a long-term, big, successful organization that fulfills our personal missions and our financial missions and our missions for the community. So don't rush. I mean, I want you to get a transaction faster than you do, more than likely, but don't lose sight of the fact that this is you're creating something from the ground up, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, and so what we've done here is we've tried to isolate what, in our opinion, are the most important things to do in the first 8 weeks of you being here. I know there's some overlap between what we're presenting and what the Market Center has presented. I'm not going to say the Market Center stuff isn't important. I think it's very important, but I want to make sure that at the very least, this stuff gets done in the appropriate manner. So Candace, as many of you know, or hopefully all of you know, has been running one-on-one coaching sessions for the last month or two. And this training program, right, that we're going to review today is kind of the backbone of those training sessions. So as you've probably figured out from meeting with Candace, the accountability sessions sound a little bit like this. Here's what we're up to for week 1. Boom, 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 boom. Do you have any questions? Okay, here are the resources to get this stuff done. And next week on Monday, when we talk, we're going to talk about whether you did it or not, right? And if you didn't do it, then we'll have a conversation about why. It's not to make you feel small or unsuccessful. It's to remind you that this is something that is important to you. And there was a day in everyone's life when they woke up one day or they had this epiphany that says, hey, I can get everything I want out of this world by simply building a real estate business that can provide the funding for it, right? And then you go through all this energy of real estate school and you pass your test and you studied and you're trying to figure it all out. We're here to try to make this as simple as possible for you guys. So you're focused on the right stuff, and we're constantly moving forward, right? So we're not saying, here's just a bunch of stuff, go do it at your leisure. It's like, here's what we want you to do today. Come back tomorrow, we'll give you something else to do. Make sense?
Yeah, and I'd like to add that sometimes what gets in the way are self-limiting beliefs. And sometimes if we're having that conversation around something that you intended to do that didn't get done, sometimes it can be that you're bumping up against a belief that's holding you back. And we can uncover that and move and work on it, so that you can move forward through that.
Yeah, and great point. And most likely those beliefs have to do around not knowing something, right? And so if you, for example, you don't know how to use FMLS, go on FMLS.com, look for their free trainings, take a training, right? If you, for example, don't know how to search for tax records or something, right? That can be learned through FMLS, or you can pop a question into the WhatsApp chat for PC and say, hey, how do I do this? And you'll probably have 10 people that jump at you trying to figure out how to help you right away. Does that make sense? Any thoughts or questions so far? Okay.
Hey, so I have a thought. Like I feel like what you just explained is kind of what the group is about, accountability, and that's pretty much what you're just holding people to, and pretty much doing your job as a coach.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and that kind of leads me to throw out one other idea, which is, let's talk about what coaching is in the first place. Many people just they're already feeling overwhelmed by the time they go get their police check and they sign the paperwork and they name their sponsor and all that kind of stuff. And then within 5 seconds of me seeing your name pop up on the in and out report, I call you and say, hey, I'm Bill, let's talk, right? And you don't even know who I am or what coaching is all about, right? There's a difference between teaching and coaching, right? Teaching you would be, here's a buyer's agency agreement. Let me walk you through the whole thing. Let me teach you how to fill it out. Let me tell you why the number is what it is, whether it's high or low, or how it would look different if you were working with a seller or buyer. That's teaching. But when I say, okay, I just taught you how to do a GPS, send me a draft of the GPS and I'll give you some feedback, come back in tomorrow and send it to me, and you don't do it, you don't have a teaching issue. You know how to do it. You have a coaching issue, which is there's something going on that is causing you to choose something else as a higher priority, even after you told me you could do it. So again, it's not to make you feel like, you're a loser or something. It's, we are partners, and Candace and I are partners, and Candace and you guys are partners, so that we can help you get to where you want to be. So I'll give you another example. Many of you know I've had on my GPS for 411 for a long time that I would hire a personal trainer, years. Okay. And about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I finally did it. And I go every Sunday to get trained. And what ends up happening is I do a certain amount of exercise, right? And my coach is standing there hovering over me being like, you got it, you got it, you got it, right? And I'm like, I'm done with this. He's like, no, you're not. Try 5 more. And I do 5 more. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that my body is not capable of it. It's that my mind is limiting my body. Candace, you look like you're dying to say something.
I was listening, I'm still listening to High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard, because it's such a great book. And he was talking about this morning how we limit our potential based on what we've experienced. And our potential is so much more than we ever know. And most of us never really ever reach our potential, but high performers get close to. And part of the way that we do that is just by pushing through and pushing through and pushing through. And I think it requires staying in a state of being uncomfortable for a good bit of time. I think, I was yesterday, Sunday's my day off, my one day off. And I sat there yesterday and I thought, well, I can do all the things I want to do, or I can really move forward on my goals. So I spent 6 hours studying yesterday with my new coach, studying some of the modules. And I know that I'll get there faster because of it, but it was a choice to be working on my potential rather than working on what's comfortable. And boy, it was not comfortable. But
I love that.
That book is just so inspiring because it just keeps you focused on, do we want to live a large life and do great things and help people in this world, or do we want to just be comfortable? And I don't know.
Yeah, Candace, can you post the link for that book? Brandon Bouchard is phenomenal. I love that guy. He's a little corny, but I really love him. He's great. And he has a really good podcast as well. One thing I forgot, I for some reason I didn't say it a second ago, but I don't know if you guys picked up on something that Candace said a few minutes ago. She says, I've got a 5:30 listing appointment and I'll definitely be done by 6:30. Did y'all hear that? Has there ever been anyone on this call that's had a listing appointment that went significantly over 1 hour?
Yes.
And is that because you were talking, or is that because they wanted to talk a bunch?
Usually probably it was me, or there
Yeah.
was some distraction in their home, such as a child or something that was causing it to go later.
So I want everyone to remember that it's really important, especially with sellers. You want to let the seller know how long the appointment's going to go. That's part of setting an expectation, right? So, hey, Candace, just so you know, our meeting will take about 45 minutes, at most an hour, so that I get an opportunity to see your home and learn more about your motivation and how to best serve you. Will that be okay? Oh, great. Because if I walk in there and I just start blabbing away, these people are going to be like, when is this woman going to stop blabbing away? I want to cook dinner, or I want to move on with my life, right? So let them know how long you're going to be there talking at them, okay? And another way to say that is don't talk at them, ask questions. Make sense?
And the pre-listing packet helps because it gives them a chance to review a lot of information that I don't have to go over. And then really all I can do is talk to them about their need, or not talk to them, but I can listen to what their needs are, because you're absolutely right. It's a question and answer and mostly listening, and then sharing comps with them, and then coming to a decision.
That's right. All right, perfect. All right, let's jump into week 1 real fast. So week 1 is tools and orientation. Okay, so as we all know, you need to participate in a market center orientation and a Market Center tech orientation. That way you have all your logins, you have your codes, you know how to use the printer. At the office, you know how to, your laptop is Kellerized, so you can, get into the systems and all that kind of thing. You know how to enter your information into, you have your FMLS codes and what do you call it, your command login and all that kind of stuff. So definitely want to knock that out first. Okay. The second thing is we want to get familiar with the lockbox process. Okay. So if you do not have a, there's kind of two things there. Okay. Thank you, Candace, for supplying some of these links. Much appreciated. Okay, so there's kind of two parts to that. Number one is we all know there's these blue boxes, super lock boxes that you'll put on the homeowner's door when you earn a listing, right? If you don't have a listing, you don't have to do that right away. You should put some money aside. They generally cost between about $90 and $100 unless you buy them from somebody that's leaving the business for $50, $75 maybe. But if you buy it new, it's probably between about $90 and $100. And you can buy that when you earn the listing. Okay. In the meantime, the first thing you need to do is get a Super E-Key account. As many of you guys know this, I know I'm pretty basic right now, but I just want to make sure that we cover these things very, very quickly. Okay. The Super E-Key is an app that connects to your cell phone, and that allows you to open those blue boxes when you're showing property or when you're previewing property. Okay. That cost is, I think it's like $15 and change per month. Okay. Is that correct, everyone?
$15.61, I believe it is a month.
$15.61 per month. Okay, that
And you
allows you to
pay
get
us like $50 for origination or something like that, to start
that
it
is
up.
correct. There's a
Yeah.
$50 one-time kind of, what's it called, fee? Like you said, initiation fee or something. Membership. Activation fee. Yeah. Okay, so now you've got the power to go into anybody's listing. Okay. Now, don't just open up doors, obviously. Call the listing agent, look at the showing instructions and set an appointment and all that. But now you have the power to get into the doors. So what should that tell you? I'm skipping ahead a tiny bit, but maybe not the first couple of weeks, but you should eventually start a commitment to looking at property every single week, right? So Ignite will tell you should look at 10 pieces of property per week. Maybe you do 5 and 5 or 2 each day or 10 at once. Just make a commitment to learn the marketplace. Okay. As I've suggested, a very solid way to do that is to say, hey, what's one city I would like to learn more about? Let's just say it's Dunwoody. Okay. So on Monday, I'm going to go see everything from 300 and below in Dunwoody, right? So if I only have 300, I shouldn't say it that way. If I have 300 and to spend, that's my budget. If I want to live in Dunwoody, what am I going to get matched with? Is it going to be a townhome, a condo? Are there any homes in Dunwoody for less than 300? I doubt it, right? Next day, you go out and you say, hey, 3 to 4. What can I see in Dunwoody from 3 to 4? So if somebody's got a budget of 375, what can they expect to get if they want to live in Dunwoody? Next day, 4 to 6 or 4 to 5 or 5 to 7 or whatever. So you get the point. You go little bit by little bit, price range by price range, so you fully understand what's going on in Dunwoody. Okay, that way, if you're in Dunwoody and your buyer says, hey, what's going on in that neighborhood? You have a rough idea of what it is, right? So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want brand new construction in Dunwoody on an acre and a finished basement and my budget's 380, you're like, okay, well, I think there's probably not much that matches that criteria, but let's look at some other areas where that's possible, right? So you don't just say, oh, great, I'll go back to my computer and send you all the results. And then you look and see that hasn't been available since the mid 80s. Make sense? Ryan, did you want to say something? That looks like you were looking for your mute button.
No, I had pushed the chat thing and I couldn't get it to go off. So you were covered up, but I'm good now. I got to go away.
Okay, next thing is we want to make sure we know how to use the lockbox. So let's talk about that for 15 seconds. Okay, you're going to take I'm looking to see if I have one around here. You got the blue lockbox. You come to your door, you press the little bottom part up, and then you put in your code. And then when your code is done, you press it again, and the base falls out. The key's in there. Okay, you got to press it up first. All right, next. FMLS.com. I know we have two MLSs, FMLS and Georgia MLS. FMLS is by far and away the more popular one, especially on the north side of town. if you do a lot of business south of I-20, then I would say the premier resource for that would be Georgia MLS. But north of I-20, it's pretty much FMLS. You can always look in Georgia MLS, but I typically do the majority of my research in FMLS. So go to fmls.com. There is a classes tab, so you can begin to take some of the classes. And this will show you, how to create comps, how to do a CMA, how to do like mail merges with tax records, how to do, oh, thank you so much, training, YouTube training. So you can do tons of training on FMLS and different modules and different resources that FMLS makes. And I'll be honest with you, I probably use FMLS to, I don't know, maybe 70 or 80% of its capacity, right? So take an opportunity to learn more about what FMLS does. I mean, you're paying for it, right? We pay 0.0012 times the sales price every time we have a closing. I mean, you could be paying FMLS $5,000 to $10,000 a year, right? So let's use their resources. Okay, next, signs. Okay. I guess technically you do not need a sign until you earn a listing. However, I believe that is a piece of psychology. Okay, so as many of you guys know, when you have a lockbox or you have a sign and it's sitting in a place that you see it all the time and it's at your house, you're not going to sell your house. You got to put that in somebody else's house, right? So I used to put a sign right in the kind of the back of my garage. So when I pulled up, I'd see a sign there and I'd say, what the hell is that doing there? It's not going to help me sit in my garage. Let me go make an extra call to find somebody who I can put this sign in their house. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of pushes you a little bit to, to go find some business. Okay. There's a number of sign providers. KW has a number of relationships. So you get the exact, logo and the color red and all that kind of stuff. Pam, what's the name of the place that we go to sometimes? Image 360 or something?
Yes, Image 360 off Old Milton Parkway.
Yeah. Look, they're really good. Really good. They're probably one of my favorites. There's another one called Build a Sign that Candace just posted. And then there's another one called Farmer Signs that's also pretty good. They all are, a partner. They have some type of partnership with KW, so they know, again, the logos and the designs and templates and all that kind of stuff. Farmer Signs. Thank you, Pam. And Sam Signs. I don't know anything about them. Okay, cool. Hang on. Okay, next, headshot. Okay, everyone needs a professional headshot. I find it funny sometimes when people are, their headshot is of them at like the beach or like, getting their like, license certificate or something. Like we have to give a professional impression to the people in our communities. So I highly recommend a professional headshot. Okay. I was trying to decide if I wanted to say anything, but I was going to probably skip it.
The headshots of the leaders that you see in here that look so awesome. Bill's wife did that. She's a professional photographer. She's doing my headshot as soon as I can get in touch.
All right, so this is not meant to be a plug for her, although I am very proud of her work, and she's done a lot of work for the Roswell office. So I'll post her link a little bit later. That was not designed for a commercial. Please trust me. Okay, next, command overview. Okay, I'm not talking about learning how to do every little thing in command. Okay, there is I think it's a 50 or 55-minute video that is in the weekly email. And what that does is it basically is a very quick summary of all of the modules, or what they call applets, on the left-hand side of command when you open it up. So they go through a little kind of demo of the context page, right? Here's how to add a hashtag, and here's how to add the person's address, and here's how to add the neighborhood. And just thank you, Candace. This is awesome. I appreciate everything you're doing right now. Let's save all that just so we can connect it to ultimately the document. Okay, so it gives you a little overview of neighborhood nurtures and designs and opportunities and what do you call it? What are some of the other all the stuff on the left-hand side. It gives you a good overview, and it just helps you understand the basics. I mean, the real basics of command. I got to let you know, that's pretty much all you need for the first 8 weeks. Okay, don't get too overwhelmed with learning every little thing in command. Okay, if you don't have a closing, you're not going to have enough money to stay at Keller Williams to enjoy what command offers. Let's get you paid first. Okay, is that fair? Did everyone hear that loud and clear? I know it's fun to play around on command, but unless you want to be a command teacher, you're not going to get paid for how much you know about command. Is that cool? Okay, next, let's talk a little bit about the daily success tracker. Okay. Thank you, Pam. This is so awesome, man. I talk and everyone else helps. This is fantastic. Okay. Candace, feel free to chime in. I know I'm doing most of the talking.
Okay, you're doing good.
Daily Success Tracker. That is a document within our Google Drive. Just type Daily Success Tracker, and clearly you'll see that I am not a designer, but the point of that document is for you to download the document. Okay, it is a Word doc, so you can edit it however you please. Okay, and the goal there is for once it is edited according to your specific needs, okay, and your specific goals, the idea is that it will serve as essentially a daily journal. Okay, and what it has at the top, Candace, what's that quote at the top? Are you looking at it?
Yes, I'm sharing it. Everything worthwhile is uphill. No one accidentally goes uphill, by John Maxwell.
What do you guys think about that quote?
Yeah.
That's a good quote, isn't it? Who has
It's
some thoughts
true.
on that?
It's
What?
true. It
What does
takes
that mean
effort.
to you, Pam? Tell us a little bit more about what does that mean to you?
It takes effort to go uphill, intentionality.
Yep.
You don't just happen to go uphill.
That's right. That's right. And we've all been going uphill for exactly the same number of days we've been in the business, right? You know, every day we're dealing with something new, some new challenge opportunity. We're learning something new. We're meeting somebody new, right? Every day you're going to go out there and push a little bit, right? Because there are people in the marketplace, guys. There are literally thousands of people in the marketplace that want to do business right now. And if you don't find them, somebody else is going to find them. Does that make sense? And by the way, the average realtor that they might come across is not particularly good. So they may end up making decisions that aren't good for their family. Does that frustrate you? That certainly frustrates me. Does that make sense? Okay, so the daily tracker will, on the upper left-hand corner, Candace, can you share that one more time, please? In the upper left-hand corner is basically a couple of bullet points of the things that you have to do every single day. Okay, some of those could be work related. Some of those could be not work related. So for example, if you need to, I shouldn't say need to, but if you want to, let's say, pray every day, or you want to read a book every day, or you need to make dinner, or you need to pick up the kids from school, or you need to go running, or whatever it is, whatever you do every single day, then put it there, because it'll be staring you in the face every day, and you'll be able to prioritize it because you have an awareness that that's critical, and it's essentially an in your face checklist. Okay, right below that, Candace, are you able to share that again, please?
You're not seeing it?
No, is everyone seeing it?
Let me share again.
The daily
Okay.
success tracker?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was up. Not up anymore. Here it
There
is.
we go.
Good. Here we go. All right. So right
Hey, good
below-
morning. How are you? It was very, very relaxing. I feel 100% recharged and ready to get to it.
Oh, fantastic. Trent, go make some calls today.
I muted him.
Yeah. Trent feels very refreshed. So Trent, we're expecting some huge numbers today. Okay, right below it is our contacts to be made. Okay, many of us know that depending on the number of dollars you'd like to make or the number of families you'd like to help or how quickly you'd like to cap, we know how many people you need to speak to each day. Let me just give you a very, very quick summary. If you intend to make $63,000 and cap in the 12-month period, then you need to speak to 4 people a day, 220 days out of the year, 4 days a week, or I'm sorry, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a year, 4 weeks a month, and 11 months out of the year.
I like the 4 weeks a year.
Hey, I mean, this is our business to create. You know, you do whatever you want to do. Okay, if you want to cap in 6 months, you need to speak to 8 people a day. And if you want to cap in 3 months and make 250, then you need to speak to 16 people a day. So that gives you an opportunity to note who you have spoken to during the period, during that period. Yeah, perfect. That is that graphic right there is on the weekly email. It's been on the weekly email for a couple of weeks now. Okay, can you go back up to show the other one, the daily success list real fast? Okay, perfect. All right, now, as you are going about your day, whether you're at home or at the office or in between or something like that, the purpose is for this document to serve as a journal. So you're basically taking it everywhere you go because you're having conversations with people everywhere you go. So the goal is to hit that daily number. And then when you're done for the day, you just fill out that little row right there, right? How many contacts did I have? How many people did I add to the database? How many people need to go into the pipeline? Did I go on any seller appointments or take any seller listings? Did I go any buyer appointments? Did I take any buyer listings? Did I pend anything? And did I get paid today, right? And I wanted to talk about psychology for a second, okay? Don't just leave it blank. Don't just leave it blank. If it's 0, write 0. And taking 2 seconds to write 0, I did not have a listing appointment today. I did not have a buyer appointment today. I did not have a listing appointment today. I did not have a buyer appointment today. That's what you earned, right? So that's your score. Okay, we can either acknowledge the score and come up with a strategy to improve it, or we can pretend like it didn't happen, okay? And I'm not here to tell you your goals are big or small. I'm here to hear what your goals are and stand next to you, well, and with Candace, of course, as well, to help you get there, okay? Everyone has a goal to sell at least 1 house a year, right? So we're gonna have to meet people. So let's not let too many weeks go by where we're not building our database and we're not going on appointments. Does that make sense?
And
Okay.
also, Bill, I'd like to say that Donna Patrick has a revised version of this, which is excellent. I tried to pull it up, but I have too many Word docs open that I haven't saved. It's scrolling through them, so I can't get to it. But Donna, if you would post that in the announcements again, that would be excellent, because it's got a portion up here at the top where you learn about the market. And so you start your day as an expert. It's excellent.
You're so kind. You said you've got what did you say? A revised version? Donna Patrick has taken time to create a significantly better version than the one I created. I appreciate that. And let's share that for everybody. Okay. Next is you got to remember that pretty much all day long, you are making a series of promises to people. Right? Oh, I'll send you some comps for that neighborhood. Oh, I'll introduce you to the lender. Oh, I'll introduce you to my electrician. Right? All day long, you're making promises to people. Okay. So we need to have a system to make sure that all of those promises get done. Right? This is an example of how to do that. Okay. And then just taking a moment of reflection at the end of the workday to say, hey, what did I learn today? Right? What could I improve on today? That's another way of saying, here's a couple things I want to talk to my coach about. Right? Or here's a couple questions that popped up. I'm not sure I'm clear on the answer. So let me reach out to my accountability partner, or let me ask Candace or Bill, or let me post it in the chat, or let me call one of the mentors or whatever, right? Make sense? I think that's it on the daily success list, right? Okay, I'm almost done, guys. If you need to hop off, I get it. We're recording this. It's okay. Okay, next, social. Okay, the second somebody is going to consider working, let's say Melissa, let's just take you for an example. If somebody's going to say, oh, this woman Melissa Guy, I think she might be my new realtor. I had a really good conversation with her at the grocery store. Okay. It's probably going to be about 5 minutes before they Google you. Okay. And they look at your Instagram and they look at your Facebook and they looked at your LinkedIn and they looked at your, whatever else, right? So I just want you to take a quick peek at all of those sites and make sure that what they see is what you want them to see. Okay. I'm not picking on you, Melissa, just so everyone is clear. But make sure, like, there's nothing that shows kind of a lack of professionalism than them looking at you on LinkedIn and you don't even have a picture, right? Or them looking at you on Facebook and you got a picture of you, half naked at the beach or something. Okay. We want to set a professional tone. Make sense? Okay. Anyone want to add to that? Candace, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and I think I know a lot of people use Facebook as a political forum, but as a realtor, I'm not sure that that's such a great idea, because you're always going to alienate one part of the community. So I think stay neutral about that, or just not use that. Keep that in your. What do they say? Don't talk about religion, politics, or sex. So I think that's probably appropriate for social media too. And if you post things, people like to be around people that are inspiring or fun. So those are the kinds of things that you can, the content that you can, or informative, things of value, of course.
Yeah, and I don't want people to hear like we're trying to, quiet your free speech or any of that kind of thing.
Right.
Let me say it slightly differently. You are free to do whatever you want and say whatever you want. However, the public is free to determine whether they want to work with you based on how you've communicated with them.
Yeah.
Make sense? So you're free to do whatever you want, but you're going to deal with the repercussions of doing whatever you want. Fair enough? Okay, beautiful. Last thing for the first week is joining a board. Okay, joining a board, you can either join the Georgia 400 North Board or the Atlanta Realtors Association. Okay, there's contact information for both of those and all your orientation documents. As soon as you join the board, you are also joining the GAR, Georgia Association of Realtors, and NAR, National Association of Realtors, and you get all the privileges that you get with those memberships. They also give you something called the NERDS number, NRDS number, and you use that to connect DocuSign to Command. Okay, and that gives you access to all of the GAR forms on Command through DocuSign, and you can begin to peruse those pieces, those contracts. Okay, so now we've kind of worked through the first week. Let me I had a feeling this was going to happen. We're probably not going to get a chance to go through everything in the second week, but let me just touch on one thing really quickly. Okay, the second week, the idea here is what's the whole purpose of this thing? Who are we hoping to impact? What are we hoping to achieve? Like, how do I know I'm winning, right? How do I know work is done for the day? How do I know what to be proud of or what to be frustrated with, right? How do I know whether I'm winning? That's the big one. So let's take a little bit of time to really try to figure out what is so unique about Ryan Kennedy's business and what's so unique about Melissa Guy's business. Like, why would I choose you when I could choose 40,000 other agents? It's not to say like you're new or whatever. It's to say, like, what does your organization do? Like, what's the point of it, right? And how does it impact the customers and how does it impact the community at large? So if you haven't spent some time focused on that and thinking about that, like, for example, is there a charity that your organization supports, right? Do you support let's say a homeless organization or a foster care foundation or Roswell Cares or, we used to support this thing called Nothing But Nets. It's what do you call it? Organization that provides malaria nets to families in Africa. Okay, the malaria net's like $10 or something, and it keeps a family safe from malaria for like a month. Okay, we're worried about what type of distilled water we're going to have, and they're worried about getting eaten by a deadly bug. I mean, we got to have some perspective sometimes. Make sense? Okay. So is there an organization that you want to support and be vocal about it, right? Okay, we just went through, Candace showed you that graph where you can kind of get an idea of the number of contacts per day, appointments held, listings taken, homes sold, and income. Broke it down very easily dependent on how many dollars you would like to make. Obviously, if you tell me, hey, my goal is to make 80, then we can create a plan that is probably somewhere roughly halfway between the 6-month and the 12-month plan. Okay, so the goal there is to figure out how many contacts do I need to make each day, and how many appointments do I need to go on throughout the course of either the month or the year. The next question will be kind of working through the GPS. Now, this is a tool that Candace is very familiar with, and Candace is likely helping a lot of you build. But essentially the function of the GPS is, what are the lead generation strategies that I will incorporate into my business and push hard on those so that I can find some people, right? So do you have to cold call? No, you don't have to do anything. Okay. The question is number one, do you know the number of appointments you need? And do you have a plan to get there? So if you're getting all the appointments you want from open houses or social media, no, you don't need to call any strangers. I wouldn't want to either. But if you're not getting all the appointments you need through the strategies that you're currently working, then I'm going to encourage you to consider some additional strategies, right? Or do those strategies more. Okay, we've got some examples of GPSs in that Candace has on the screen now, as well as in our Google Drive and resource list. Okay, and then finally, reading MREA. Okay, reading MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Okay, this is essentially, Candace didn't, we did not plan this, just so you know, but Candace has been like, man, you've been right on it all day. Thank you. Reading the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. If you guys don't know this, you are now business owners, and you may never have been a business owner in the past, and therefore you're going to need to change a little bit of the way you think, right? Leadership, what we're doing in here with you is showing examples of leadership. And what Gary Keller says leadership is it is helping you think the way you need to think, so that you can get what you want when you want it. Okay, so if you're not familiar with business building and tracking and accountability and budgeting and organizational structures and all that kind of stuff, now's the time to start to familiarize yourself with that. Okay, this is a book, I've probably read this book, I don't know, 15 times or something. And every time I read it, I feel differently about my business and my opportunity. And when I get kind of on my high horse and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing awesome, I read this and I'm like, whoa, I haven't sold 400 units in a year, right? I'm probably not reaching my potential. Does that make sense? Okay, so please read that book. Next, and then finally is the schedule. Okay, Candace and I are going to be releasing some schedules this week, particularly for dual career agents, that can help you maximize the results of the amount of time that you spend in the business. As you guys know, there's no like secret script book for dual career people, or there's no like, you know, phrase or whatever that you say to buyers and sellers if you're dual career, and we don't tell the other people so that you get business faster. You just have to work 2 careers, right? And whatever amount of time that you have to dedicate to real estate, you just got to be super strategic during that amount of time, right? And split that time between learning and meeting people, right? What am I going to learn today so I'm smarter and better and more, you know, I understand the contracts better, the technology better, the marketplace better, negotiations better, whatever. And then I need to spend some time meeting people every single day, right? So I'll look at somebody's numbers that post their numbers, and they didn't add a single person to their database the whole week. Guys, we're in the people business, right? We are really in the lead generation business. Forget about real estate. We're in the real estate, or we're in the people meeting business. Y'all understand that? Okay. So you got to ask yourself, how committed am I to working 2 careers, right? Or how committed am I to being strategic and intentional with my daily activities so I can move this thing forward? Okay. And that's going to all revolve around your schedule. Okay. So real quickly, you generally take a blank calendar. And this is my suggestion, but it's also, of course, Gary Keller's suggestion, is the first thing you put in there is all your non-real estate stuff, right? I got to pick up the kids at school at this time. I got to go to church at this time. This is when we have our Bible study. This is when we walk the dog, whatever it is. Okay, so all that stuff goes in there. Next is your planning time. So I typically look at Sunday night, and I take about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour each Sunday night, and kind of review my previous week, review my calendar for the next week. Personally, I usually do the weekly email, the PC weekly email. I'm looking at where I am on my appointments and saying, hey, am I behind? Am I ahead? Do I need to make some changes for the week ahead? Right? Let's report, right? I have to tell, 3 different coaches what I'm up to every day. And I have to reevaluate my schedule to make sure that it matches my priority. Make sense? Okay, we've kind of covered a lot today. Is there anyone that did anyone learn anything today? Was this helpful? Did you hear something that you heard in a special way today that resonated where maybe it hasn't resonated in the past? Give me some feedback if you would, please.
Bill, I guess I'll say, like you and I had kind of gone over this when I first started 5 weeks ago. It was just kind of like a work in progress at that point. But even I, having this document ready, haven't really been able to sit down and do this and kind of the way I'm supposed to, because I felt like I need to learn this and I need to do this and I need to do this. And this definitely helps just break it down, focus on what's important. And I think it'll help me get it together a lot quicker now.
Right. And for those, thank you for sharing that. And for those that have been around, handful of months or more, go back and say, let's say Markia, for example. Okay, she's been in the business for a handful of years and at KW for about a year. Do you actually know 100% of what Command does? Maybe you should go watch that video and double check, right? Or see what updates have happened and continue to sharpen your skills, right? There might be people that have been in the business forever that don't have a GPS or don't live by a schedule. Does that make sense? So I don't want everyone to say, oh, I've been in the business for more than 2 weeks. I'll take the rest of the week off the huddles. This is a reminder of the foundational pieces of our business. Does it make sense? Anyone else want to share anything?
I was just gonna say that too, is that it's like, I've done a lot of it, but I kind of wrote down like, oh, you know what? I really didn't do that one thing or that little thing that was good, just refresher. Like, okay, did I do all these things? Or some of that I did, and I'm like, but I don't remember what it said or how to do that. So I need to go refresh myself on that too. So.
Right. And I think a lot of times people will skip the why are we doing this step, right? They're just so in a hurry to start being a realtor that they forget that there's a point to every business, or there should be, right? And there's going to be a lot of struggle in the real estate business, right? It ain't that easy. I mean, knowledge wise, it's pretty easy, but the daily grind of going and meeting people and helping them and dealing with obstacles and all that kind of stuff, it can be pretty frustrating sometimes, right? So every once in a while, we're going to have to look back to the reason why we do it, or look at a picture of our family, or look at a picture of some organization that we're trying to impact, right? And that'll pull us out of the kind of the little maybe a little depression or whatever that you guys are experiencing, because we have a long-term vision to build a powerful business that can support many, many things, right? And a lot of people have this false understanding that building a big business means that they have they're going to be more busy and they're going to have more things to do. Guys, it's actually the exact opposite. Okay, when you build a big business, you bring in other people that are super talented and super driven so that they can help with some of the tasks that need to get done to support your business. And quite frankly, they're better at it. Okay. So building a big business doesn't mean you have less of a life. If anything, it means you have more of a life because you get to do the things you want to do. And you're giving opportunity to other super talented people that can fulfill the mission. All right. Candace, you want to add anything?
She went to the leadership huddle.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. I know this lasted a little bit longer than normal. I'm super grateful for each and every one of you. Remember, we are posting our numbers separate for dual career as and full-time. So please, today or yesterday was the end of the second week. So please, if the number is 0, just put 0 there. And if the number is 1, that's okay. Let's make some progress every single day. But let's take a moment to reflect on where we're at. Okay, so please take a moment to update everything there, and we will see you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.
Thank you.